Hi everyone, and welcome to another cooking vlog where we're going to make paprika potatoes. This is also one of those dishes that many people make in many different ways, but now let me show you my family's recipe. I'll also mention where others might do things a little differently in this recipe. In the meantime, you'll see the ingredients, and of course later on I'll measure everything out for you so you can see exactly how much of each ingredient we used for this portion. Alright, so let's quickly take a look at the ingredients. So you'll need potatoes, paprika powder, salt, pepper, caraway seeds, water, onion, sausage, tomato, bacon, and bell pepper. These are what you'll need. The caraway seeds can be left out today, so if someone doesn't like them, that's fine. Some people also like to add bay leaves, but we don't use them. I don't like them because for me, they overpower the flavor. Now the potatoes, this is a very important part of paprika's crumpli. It's crucial that they are washed thoroughly. If they aren't washed well, the starchy water will affect the flavor of the dish and it won't taste as good. For this batch, I had to wash them 4 times to get the water completely clear. I'll show you in a moment in the bowl how dirty the water is after the first wash, and it's not just dirt. There's also a lot of starch left in that water. Just think about it. If I were to cook it in this water, how different the taste of the dish would be. So I washed it 4 times here, and I hope you'll be able to see in my footage how nice and clean the potatoes got after the last wash. Then I drained them, and that's when I'll add them to the dish. Now let's take a look at the quantities. Let's start with the tomatoes. You don't need a lot of tomatoes for this. This is 260 grams. By the way, I cut up 3 tomatoes. This isn't a stew or a ratatouille. Next comes the pepper. I chopped up 2 peppers, which is about 100 grams right now. It can be more or less depending on how much pepper you have at home. Sausage, I put in 1 pair of sausages, 1 pair, which is about 370 grams. The potatoes are 1.7 kilograms. This won't be a huge portion, but the 5 of us will be able to eat from it twice. Meanwhile, we've also prepared the fire since it's almost time to put the cauldron on and let it heat up so we can add the bacon. Of course, you can easily use oil instead of bacon, but I much prefer everything made with bacon fat. But if I didn't have any, I'd use oil too. But now let's get to my favorite part. So you need to put 3 onions into this dish or for this amount, and here comes my favorite, my love, my new onion chopper, which you already saw in my previous Temu vlog. This really is an amazing thing. Just look at how it chops up this onion. By the way, originally it's enough if you just cut the onion in half or into quarters and put it in like that. My mom chopped it up a little more finely. Look at this, how beautifully and evenly it chops the onion into small pieces. I'll quickly add the garlic as well. You can see it here now. This is 6 cloves of garlic and it handled that too. It's a great little machine. I really recommend it to everyone, and pulling that cord is also really satisfying. Now it's time to add the bacon into the cauldron. As you can see, it's a bit windy and we didn't hold it, so it's moving a little. Sorry about that, but in the meantime the cauldron has gotten nice and hot, so now the delicious bacon can go in. This time I won't be taking the bacon out, as you may have seen in other dishes. I'm going to leave it in because it will give a really delicious flavor to these paprika potatoes. Now the bacon has browned nicely, so it's almost time to add the onions as well. Very, very good. Very, very good. I'll give it a little stir, and then the next thing we're going to add are the sausages, the sausage slices. It's going to be really delicious when the sausage releases its paprika, garlic, and spicy flavors into the fat and the onions. You don't need to fry the sausages in it, just stir them for 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes, leave them in the fat, and they'll give off their flavor perfectly. Next comes the pepper, and you'll also stir this for just a minute or 2. It doesn't need to be fully cooked in there. I added 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds, but you can use ground caraway as well, and if you don't like it, you can leave it out. I usually add the caraway at this point so it can release its flavor a bit in the fat. You can also add tomatoes and stir those in as well. You can actually add a little bit of tomato paste if you prefer, but for this amount, this will be just enough. Now comes the paprika, which is an important ingredient. I added 2 tablespoons of paprika. If you like it with more paprika, you can add more. This is very important. You shouldn't stir it too much after adding the paprika because it will turn bitter. But it's important to remember that paprika is a fat-soluble spice, so you need to let it sit in the fat for a bit. to dissolve. So I also quickly add a little water to it just to make sure the taste doesn't go bad. And then all that's left to do is add the potatoes. I stir it together like this. You see there's all that delicious sausage in there. And then I pour in enough water to cover the potatoes. Now comes the seasoning. I added 2 tablespoons of salt and basically a tablespoon of pepper since I put in 2 half tablespoons. Constant stirring is important since we are cooking in a cauldron and the bottom can burn, but there's a lot of liquid in it so it won't burn, but you still have to be careful. Now we're adding the garlic. This was 6 cloves, but you can use more or less as you like. I would have added more, but we didn't have any more garlic at home, though actually this amount turned out to be just right. And so basically our dish starts to simmer nicely, and this paprika potatoes took about 50 minutes to cook. I stirred it every 10 to 12 minutes or so, and this time I hardly had to adjust the seasoning. The salt, pepper, and garlic were just perfect, and the delicious flavors from the sausage really came through. And here it is. This wonderful paprika potatoes is ready, and we're really, really hungry. Of course, what else would we eat it with but pickles? Pickles are a staple of Hungarian cuisine. We like it best with fermented cucumbers, but really, you can have it with anything. Beetroot, sweet pickles, anything, even apple peppers, it's perfect. And I like to eat it by mashing the potatoes with a fork. For me, that's the tastiest way in the family. Someone else prefers to dip bread into the sauce, but just eat it however you like best. Give it a try and enjoy. Paprika potatoes is a classic of Hungarian folk cuisine whose greatness lies in its simplicity. Over the centuries, this peasant dish has grown into a beloved, iconic staple of Hungarian cuisine. Join me in the next video as well, and now hit the subscribe button. Did you press it? Are you sure? See you next time. Bye.